Okay, going to go live in just a few moments here. It's going to be a pretty short stream. We're just catching up on some fights that happened and some recent fight news, mostly just like the big stuff or stuff that really interested me. So we're not going to go too deep tonight. Just going to wait to see if we get some people in. We'll see. We shall see. Here to about the minute mark. Now we're just going to get started because I don't want to take up people's time tonight. Don't want to take up mine either. But it's good to go live again after a while. I've been falling behind on things. Work caught up to me. Plus, I was on the road. So we'll see. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get started. All right. Welcome back to WMMA Now with your host, Chuck Stevenson. And welcome to the WMMA catch-up stream. I haven't been live in a while, so I wanted to catch up on some fights and things that have been going on lately. Haven't had the WMMA report, so just wanted to talk about a few fights that happened recently and talk about a few news events that got announced recently. Excuse me. So, like I was saying before during the intro, I'm not going to waste everyone's time. It is a holiday. It was a beautiful day. I did a lot of yard work. I'm tired. I'm a little sunburned. But let's get down into this. So, let's talk about some recent fights that have happened in the last few weeks since the last time did WMA report. So, let's go to London. Bellator London had some fun fights. Alina Kalianadu defeated Kate Jackson via a second round TKO. Now, Jackson's ring rust might have played a part in this, but I'll tell you what, Kalianadu, this is the best that I've ever seen her look. I've watched several of her fights, all of them, her Bellator fights particularly, but this is the best she had ever looked. Man, she's strong. She's looking strong. She's looking fit, putting her combinations together nicely. Got some power in her hands, and when she's on the ground, man, excuse me, she has some good sweeps going for her. So really nice result for her. Then up on the main card, Kana Watanabe defeated Denise Kielholtz via submission due to triangle choke in the second round. Kielholtz had Watanabe hurt in the first few seconds, like hurt badly, and then just went all downhill for her from there. Watanabe managed to keep a hold of her, got her down to the ground, and from then on, it was just all of Watanabe on the ground. Then in the second round, like even in the second round started, Watanabe just didn't even try to close for the clinch with Kielholtz like Watanabe would normally do. She shot for either a single or double leg takedown, like very wrestler like, not very Judica like, which is Watanabe's style. And Watanabe got her down, and then from there just worked it. And Kielholtz had Watanabe on her back and turned into it and just turned straight into the triangle choke. It was like I mentioned in my review video of this fight. There are levels to black belts because both of these ladies are judo black belts. But even at the black belt level, there is levels, and Watanabe's judo is just much better than Kielholtz's. Then on that same weekend, we had a UFC event at flyweight. Viviane Araujo defeated uh, Andrea KGB Lee via decision. I'll tell you what, this is the worst that Lee has looked in a while, but it was also the best that Vivi Araujo has looked in a long time. I mean, the best she has looked in a long time. She had cardio past the first round. That's something Vivi never does. Vivi never has cardio past the first round. It was amazing. Amazing. And it helped her all the way. And even when she was wrestling with Lee. And, Lee normally shows some decent takedown defense. Here, it's like she had none. But the big story of this fight was Araujo's cardio. And I think a big part of it was the fact that she wasn't throwing every punch like it could be the fight ending punch. And that's been Araujo's problem for a long time is that she throws every punch like she's going for the knockout. But she didn't this time, and it actually worked out for her. So that's a good thing. And we also had Katlyn Chookagian, who defeated Amanda Hebos via split decision. This was actually a close fight, not the most exciting fight, but it was very close. Um, Hebos really brought the fight to Chookagian. Hebos moving up from strawweight, got Chookagian down and was able to keep her there for a lot of the fight. Chookagian looked kind of helpless on her back. Now that was maybe that was Hebos's ground ability, or maybe just Chookagian isn't very good off her back. I'm not sure. I'd like to credit Hebos for that. But at the end of the day, it was Chookagian coming away with a split decision. No surprise there. Then the next weekend on Friday, we had one championship 157. Wonder Girl, Nat Jurinsek, made her MMA debut, choking out Ziba Bano via triangle choke submission in the first round. A successful pro debut for her at 125 pounds. Wasn't sure what her debut was going to look like. I mean, if you follow one championship, you've seen Wonder Girl in Muay Thai and knew that she had been training MMA for a while now, but she had recently left. She was training at Fairtex, where she started training her Muay Thai, or MMA, and she left there for Merrick Force Gym, which is a decent MMA gym as well in Thailand. But getting the job done. Then down at 115 pounds, Elise Anderson got it done against Asha Roka, choking her out with the triangle choke. Got the submission in the first round as well. Roka had seemed like she had Anderson hurt at first, dropped her, and then Roka went to the ground with Anderson, and that was pretty much her downfall. Roka went to the ground against someone who's very good with triangles and just did not work out well for her. So Lisa Anderson getting her first win under the one championship banner. And after and this is her first fight since September. So first fight for a while for her. Also on Friday, had Aries FC6. This was last Friday? Yeah, last Friday, or 2 Fridays ago, rather. Aries 6 had a bantamweight bout. Daria Zalesnikova defeated Liana Jojua via decision. This is Jojua's first fight after getting released by the UFC. She moved back up to bantamweight, took on a much bigger Daria Zalesnikova. I mean, the size difference here was pretty telling, and just did not go well for Liana Jojua, so no surprise there. And these out of order. Yeah, this one's out of order. So this fight here happened just this past Thursday. Lux 22 had a title for the vacant strawweight championship. Girl who lost in the inaugural strawweight title bout last year, last August or September, Sarai Orozco, this time claimed the title. She defeated Diana Reyes via, I want to say TKO in after 2 rounds, doctor stoppage. Reyes's eye was absolutely swollen shut. I mean, Orozco beat her up, just destroyed Reyes's eye. Doctor had to stop it, couldn't let her go on, continue, and giving Orozco the vacant strawweight championship for Lux 22. This is on Fight Pass, by the way. Aries, the fight before this, and now Lux, both are available on UFC Fight Pass. By the way, we got a couple of viewers there in the chat. The chat is open if you have any comments you'd like to leave. Also, don't forget to hit that like button. Helps get that algorithm going. Then last Saturday, we had UFC Fight Night Holm versus Vieta. We had 3 ladies bouts, 1 at strawweight, 1 at 2 at strawweight, 1 at bantamweight. First up, Sam Hughes there in the black defeated Elise Reed via, I wanna say TKO, via ground and pound. Best Sam Hughes has looked in the UFC, not the best look for Elise Reed. This is a fight that I saw a lot of people just absolutely dogging on this fight. I mean, just seeming like genuinely mad at how these 2 fighters looked in this fight. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, I don't get it. It's like these are 2 young fighters who are unranked, only have, like, what? A couple fights in the UFC each. What was people expecting from this bout? I just don't get it. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything out of this bout. I certainly wasn't expecting it did get a stoppage, did it not? Yeah, it was a TKO stoppage in the 3rd round. First off, 3rd round stoppages, pretty rare, especially for the ladies. The fact that it was a stoppage, that should actually make people happy. I don't know. Uh, I'm actually working on a video about this and about managing expectations when watching fights. I don't know what people were expecting. I didn't have any expectations for this fight because again, it was two young fighters, very inexperienced, unranked. So I just didn't really expect a whole lot out of these two. So hey, the fact that it didn't go to decision is pretty darn good. And then this was another one that got I don't know. I keep seeing Tabitha Ricci defeated Poliana Viana via decision. And again, people are like, "Oh, this fight underperformed. This fight underperformed." Compared to what? Compared to what? What did this underperform compared to? Again, you have 2 unranked fighters. Ricci, this is what, her 3rd fight in the UFC? And Polyana Viana, she's never been like a consistent fighter. Did I find the fight entertaining? No, I thought the fight was boring, but again, I didn't expect much from this fight. So I don't know. I mean, what was people expecting from this? And keep seeing, oh, this fight underperformed. This fight underperformed. But again, what did it underperform compared to? Or how was it supposed to perform? That's a better question. How was this fight supposed to go in people's eyes? I don't know. Again, I think people need to learn to manage their expectations. Which brings us to the main event of that fight night. Ketlin Vieira defeated Holly Holm via what was it, split decision? Via split decision. And let's be honest, this fight was boring. This is an absolutely boring fight. There was no real big moments in this fight. Holly Holm just trying to control her way to a decision. No real emphasis on it to finish the fight really from either fighter. But again, I this is what I expected from this fight. I expected this fight to go to decision. I did not plan on either of them finishing the other, and yeah, I was not surprised. Did not expect excitement from this fight. I just didn't. So I don't know why people what people are so mad and upset about. I think basically everybody knew going in. Oh, it's Holly Holm main event, probably going to be boring because she's a fairly boring fighter anymore. And then people are crying robbery, robbery, robbery. Home got robbed. But I find it funny though. The same people, a lot of the same, or I shouldn't say the same people, a lot of the same people that were crying home got robbed because she had the most control time. What was it? 2 weeks before that? A week? The week before, were crying over Bellator when MVP lost the decision to Logan Storley. Those same people that were crying about Holmes' control were at the time controlling about the so-called damage done by MVP. And it's like, man, where's the consistency at there? But that's the MMA media for you, right? If they had if they didn't have double standards, they'd have zero standards. Talk about the paid MMA media. Anyway, I didn't think this fight was a robbery at all. I just thought it was not worth really not worth discussing up until now. And it just really was not. I mean, I went in with low expectations for this fight, and the fight delivered on those low expectations. Just a boring fight. Then this was pretty boring weekend of MMA. There was like almost no MMA this weekend, other than like regional fights. So Sunday, yesterday, Deep Tokyo Impact, fourth round. Main event was a strawweight bout where Yuko Kiryu defeated Emi Tomomatsu via decision. The fight was only 2 rounds. JMMA loves 2 round fights, particularly deep, and Deep Jewels love 2 round fights. And then I looked up the scores, and the fight was a draw after 2 rounds. And Deep has this rule where there's no draws. The judges have to pick a winner. So all three judges picked Yuko Kiryu as their must decision winner. I hate that rule. I hate that. Either have 3 rounds or allow the fights to end in a draw. Telling the judges, hey, you have to judge this fight round by round, but if you see it as a draw after only 2 rounds, you have to pick a winner. That's basically just saying to a judge, why even score it round by round at that point? If you're going to have a 2 round fight, just have them judge it by the whole fight. Period. Just have them pick a winner at the end of the fight. There is no reason to judge it by the round, but then if you have it split between the two fighters, then you have to just pick a winner anyway. And that's like, if I was a judge, I'd be mad. I'd be like, you just wasted my time. And then it comes down to picking a winner. It basically takes it from you're going to pick a winner or you're going to decide who wins based on scoring criteria to, oh, it's a draw. Just pick someone to win. Basically, if you won the first round, you lost the fight basically under those. Because who are the judges most likely going to give the decision to? They're going to give it to whoever won the second round. Why? Because people have a natural recency bias. The whole 2 rounds, but no draw, must decision thing, I can't stand it. And I've heard a good argument in favor of it because, particularly in Japan, like for the ladies in Japan, a lot of them they're not full-time fighters. Most of them actually have a full-time job, and then they train and fight. So it's like they don't really have, the capacity to train for 3 full rounds or something like that. It's a good argument, but to me, it just leaves a sour taste in my mouth that you could fight hard, and then when it should have been a 3rd round to decide, it just goes to whoever judges feel like giving the fight to. I just hate that. Last night, we also had Combate Global, and it was a weird, like, 110-pound bout, something like that, in between atom weight and straw weight. Anyway, Jade Durand of France defeated Marina Sanchez-Pichel via decision. This is a good little, scrappy little firefight. If you can go back and watch it on Univision in Spanish, or if you have Paramount Plus streaming service, you can go back and watch this fight. This is a fun, scrappy fight. I'm going to work on a review. I'll try to have it done for tonight. But Sanchez Sanchez ate a really nasty low kick by Durand in the first round. I thought the fight was gonna be over at that point. I mean, she looked to be in serious pain, but, she fought through it, and you could tell it was still affecting her throughout the fight, but the striking of, Jade Durand, she's fast, she hits hard too, man, it's a thing to watch. If she ends up at, like, atom weight or straw weight, Aries could definitely do some good work with her. Her ground game still needs a lot of work. This is her first win. She's now 1 and 2, so she's gotta get a win streak going, but, she shows a lot of promise striking on the feet. So, that's it actually for the fights. Like I said, I wanted to keep this stream short, didn't wanna go too much into it. Let's talk about some news, some recent news announcements. Just Wave in the chat before we get into the news. Just Wave in the chat for $1.99. Thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Says, enjoying the stream. Live commentary was great. Are you referring to from the UFC a couple weeks ago? Because those were fun. I live streamed the commentary for our Ujo versus um, Lee and Chukagian versus Hebos, and they were fun. But thank you, Just Wave, for the super chat. Also, if you're just getting in here, don't forget to hit the like button. Anyway, first bit of news I want to talk about. Lucia Pudilova is back in the UFC, so I released a video on this last night. The news came out Saturday. Very excited about this. Listen, Pudilova, she's not the best fighter, and she's not always going to get wins, and they're not always going to be spectacular. But I'll tell you what, she is a fun, exciting fighter. And if she comes back at bantamweight, that division needs fun, exciting fighters. Just look the last weekend with Holm versus Vieta. That was an absolute snooze fest. Did nothing for the image of the bantamweight division. But Pudilova should bring some much needed excitement to that division. So really excited. She's gone 5-1 since leaving the UFC, all under the Octagon banner in um, Czech Republic and Slovakia. So welcome back to the UFC, Lucia Pudilova. Also up, I believe this one goes down sometime in August. Alexa Grasso versus Viviane Araújo at flyweight. This should be a banger. This should be a banger fight. Two fighters who like to throw hands. You've got the volume and speed of Grasso versus the power of Araújo. Very excited about this one. Also at flyweight, tentatively scheduled for September 3rd in Paris. Katlyn Chookagian taking on Manon Fiorot. This is the fight. If Fiorot wins this one, this cements her as title contender. Chookagian's number one in the division, rightly so, just below the champion. And if Fiorot gets past Chookagian, that's your next title contender easily. And it's a big push for Fiorot. Big push. She's fighting at home. The pressure's going to be on her. The pressure is going to be on Fiorot. A lot of people think that the pressure is going to be on Chookagian for this one because she didn't look so good in her last fight against T-Boss. And she's fighting in a foreign country against the hometown fighter. No, I don't think the pressure's on Chookagian. I think the pressure's on Fiorot because she's fighting at home. I believe for the first time ever. Let me check that. Let me see. Has she ever fought in France before? No. So Manon Fiorot has never fought in France before, which makes sense. She's mostly fought at like UAE Warriors and such. So this is Fiorot's first fight at home in France. She's fighting the number one flyweight contender in the UFC. The pressure is on Manon in this one. So that should make it that much more exciting. And I forget when they said this one was going on, but We've got a featherweight bout. Danielle Wolf there on the right is finally making her UFC debut after what, 3 freaking years? Yeah, 3 years. No, 2 years. Okay, 2 years. Just shy of 2 years, actually. It'll be like 1 year, 360 days since she fought Tanisha Tennant on the Contender Series. Danielle Wolf is making her UFC debut against Norma Dumont at featherweight on a UFC Fight Night scheduled for September 10th of this year. Uh, what is the UFC doing with this experiment? I don't understand it. I really don't get it. I just don't. Like, what is the point? Danielle Wolf is 1-0 in MMA. She's 39 years old. What is the UFC doing? And this is nothing against Danielle Wolf as a person. I don't know her personally. I don't know anything. I barely know anything about her. I just don't see the point. I really don't. Are they just basically going, well, we've got these fighters signed to contracts, so we'll just have them fight out their contracts? Because the UFC has shown no inclination of actually building the featherweight division. They never have, and personally, I don't think they ever will. So what is the point of this other than to get these fighters to fight out their contracts and because they need fillers for because they have events almost every freaking weekend. I just don't get the point of this. Tell you what, Norma Dumont, she's working at a nice size disadvantage here. Wolf is 5'11", 180 centimeters to Dumont's 5'7", 169 centimeters. And Wolf has the reach as well, 70 inches, 178 centimeters to 67 inches, 170 centimeters for Dumont. Ooh, there's some physical disadvantages to overcome for Norma Dumont here. But there's the experience of Dumont and just the overall MMA ability for Danielle Wolf to overcome. So I I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Anything else I got on here? Oh yeah, last bit of news. Like I said, we're keeping this stream short. The next Invicta event happens sometime in July. I forget the exact date, but it was announced at the end of Invicta 47. And the main event is going to be a bantamweight championship. The current bantamweight champ, Tanisha Tennant, is going to be welcoming former Bellator featherweight title contender, Olga Rubin. Victor is going to be welcoming Olga Rubin, and this will be Rubin's first official bantamweight bout. Not a bad fight. It would be interesting to see if Rubin can make bantamweight. Her last fight I think was at 140, 137. Let me check for Octagon, and she was so freaking lean. It was scary looking. Like not scary looking, but it was gross. I should say. What was that fight at? Apologies is listed as bantamweight, but should be a good one. Rubin should be able to nullify some of the reach of Tennant uses, and Rubin has the experience as well, and has that big show experience too, which Tennant doesn't have. So should make for an interesting fight. Bet on a decision, though. Bet on a decision in this bout. Okay, so that's really it. All I have for you all tonight for the WMMA catch-up stream for May 30th, 2020. Hadn't really been able to go live for a while. I was actually on the road for work for a week and in a hotel, so the Wi-Fi sucked. So I wasn't able to really get much done video wise. But I'm trying to get caught back up. I'm gonna try to release another video or two before the end of the night. But anyway, that's really all I have. So if you got anything for me in the chat, go ahead and say it now. Don't forget to hit that like button so that people can view it. But looks like that's it. So we're gonna get ready to get this done going. And thank you to everyone for watching. If you're watching live, last chance to get something in the chat. If not, we're gonna get ready to get going. And so thank you for watching. Oh, one bit of news left before we get going. The UFC has signed strawweight Yasmin Hawagi to take on Estela Nunes on August 13th. And if you're not familiar with Yasmin Hawagi, she won the Combate Global one-night strawweight tournament last August, finishing 2 of her 3 opponents in that time. And I'll tell you what, she is an absolutely exciting fighter to watch. And Nunes is pretty exciting as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that one. I can't believe I forgot I had added this to the news. But keep an eye out for Yasmin. So that is it for this stream tonight. So, like I said, before you get going, like the video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. WMMA Scene Now, the best, most complete women's mixed martial arts dedicated platform on YouTube. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you next time.